Hi, I'm Anton from Anton's Mindstorms Hacks. In this video I'm going to show you how to make building instructions for complex Mindstorms models, and I'm going to show you especially how to make building instructions for the cables. As you can see, Mindstorms models have cables and flexible parts, and Studio, my favorite building instruction program, doesn't have support for cables, and I'm going to show you in this video how to put cables into your building instructions using LDCAD. Let's get to it. The best way to start with modeling EV3 cables is to first finish your complete model. So as you can see here, I have opened a finished model of my catfish, and it's got all of the steps inside. Now it's time to put cables in it. Studio has got some limited support for flexible parts, as you can see here. Let's go to the top view. It's possible to select one of these flexible hoses, click the flexible part button, and then you can start moving things around. However, the control you have over this is very limited. Let's put this feeler here, and it goes in a very different direction. And let's put that feeler there. Let's see what we did. You can see I did more or less the same movement on both feelers, and I got totally weird results. So let's export this model and go over to LDCAD and see if we have more control over flexible parts. So I'm going to export the fish as LDRAW. Okay, now I switched over to LDCAD and I can open my LDRAW export from Studio. So the import is pretty neat. It retains all steps and all parts, so that's very nice. It's lossless. Some strange stuff happened here to the flexible parts. You can see the end points aren't imported well, but we'll all fix that later. First, let's get an EV3 cable in here, and I'm going to hide some parts just to be able to see where I can insert my EV3 cable. To hide parts, I'm going to select a part and then click the hide button up here. I can also press the H key, H, to hide all parts that are in the way of inserting cables here. Good. Now the sockets here are visible. Oops. I'm very used to moving around my model in Studio style, so I'm using the middle button here to try and pan, and brings up this dialog. However, panning in LDCAD is different. You have to press Shift and then the right mouse button. So rotating is the same as in Studio with the right mouse button. Panning is Shift and right mouse button. Let's see if we can find an electric cable. So in LDCAD you have all these tabs here. I'm just going to use the first tab, and when you open it you have these 7 options. I'm going to use this button. It goes into search. It doesn't show any parts at first, but as soon as you filter it, it will show parts. Let's add EV3 cable. now we have an even, oops. Oh, I wish I knew how to dock this window. This is a bit of a hard user interface, whatever. We're going to search again to EV3 cable, and I'm going to find out how to dock that window later. So then we have EV3 cable. This looks like the flexible type, and we also have to select the right color for it. So let's select white here and insert the EV3 cable. Usually I use the top radio button. I don't really understand what this is saying. I think the bottom one will create an external file. I'm just fine with editing this file and having everything internally, so I always use the top radio button. All the defaults are usually fine here. And now I have a cable here, and I can insert it into the brain here. I have to make sure that when I mouse over here, that part snapping, so PS, part snapping should be green, and that'll facilitate my plugging in this cable. So as you can see, the cable here is plugged into the brain. This is the port C of the brain, and this end of the cable should go into the big motor here. To do this, I select the cable like this, and I go to select, let's see where the, yeah, you go to interaction and then nested editing, or N. And as soon as nested editing is activated, I can select one connector, and you can see the cable starts flexing around. And of course my goal is to insert this connector in there. Let's see if that worked. Yes. So thanks to part snapping and nested editing, I have now put this cable from port C into the big motor here on top. The problem is that the cable now takes the shortest route, as you can see. So we're going to add some bending points to make sure the cable makes the same bends as it does on the real model. And for instance, on the real model, the cable, this little X is meant to guide the cable. So we're going to add some flexing points here. Flexing points are added by, I'm just leaving the cables here on one tab and going to another tab here, and this tab contains all of the items you need to insert flexible points into cables, and you will want to go to this button here with the red brick and the bent cable and select this widget. It's called Path Bezier Meta. So I'm still here in sub-model editing mode with N, and I can click this one, and then I can press the insert key on the keyboard, and this will insert this Path Bezier Meta. Oh, it has inserted it into an awkward place. Where did it go? That's the trouble with LDCAD. It sometimes does crazy stuff. Let's see if we can hide some more of the model and find Now, what I'm going to do is undo this insertion. Unhide and try it again. Let's see if I can press insert here. Okay, then click. Now, where did my Bezier point go? I think it went here. Okay, let's hide this part. Yeah, that's where it ended up. Let's hide some more stuff so we can see clearly. So here LDCAD inserted this Bezier point, and the point is just like a part. You can move it around. So moving around stuff in LDCAD works with this weird widget here. It's got 3 modes. One mode moves the origin, and this mode translates it, and this mode rotates it. So let's first go to translation mode. So I can I get these arrows where I can move the Bezier point around. Yeah, I think this is a nice location for a Bezier point, right here on top. And you can see as you rotate your view, the directions of these arrows will rotate with your view. Now, the Bezier point is almost at the right location, but the cable has got an ugly twist. So let's see if we can remove that twist by rotating it in the right way. This makes it worse. Okay, this improves stuff. Okay. I don't like how it becomes opaque. It should be transparent all the time like this. Anyway, so this is one of the Bezier points, and now I'm going to try and insert more of them. So I'm clicking the cable here and click the Bezier point and press insert to add another one. And again, it added it in the weirdest of locations. Also, somehow it added it before the first point. So this can be pretty annoying. It's really hard to guess where the Bezier points are going to be inserted. So I'm going to insert one more. I think that should work. And it ended up in the weirdest of locations again. It doesn't matter. I think we can move this point over to somewhere below the motor here. And then we'll move this point over to here. this point here. It should actually be rotated a little bit more horizontally. Oh, you can, by pressing the C key, you can center the view on the selected object, which could come in handy right here. Okay, so now I think I rotated it right. I can select the second block here and start moving it again. Then I can edit these Bezier handles to make the bend go out. It should actually go way further out. We should want this point below the axle, the cable guiding axle, of course. Okay. Here it is. Now, we're almost there with one cable. Now let's try and move this one into place. Okay, yeah, and then here there is a rotation problem. Yes, we're getting there. Another rotation problem. Cool. So this is more or less how the cable goes on the real model. It's a 25 centimeter cable starting here, going below there and ending up on the big motor up there. I can now press Shift N to exit node editing mode. I seem to have lost one of the connectors here, but it's a rendering problem. When I double click this thing, it still seems to be here, and there is it's a little messed up here in the middle, and this kind of messiness is very hard to remove because it's very hard to see how the cable should be rotated to remove that. So I'm just gonna leave it in. For building instructions purposes, this will be fine. Okay, let's go up to the outer model again. There we are. Now, when you go into N mode, submodel editing mode, you can choose properties here of the cable, and this is a very important dialog. The base size has to be at 10, the segment size has to be at 5, this one has to be set to static references, and this one has to be set to segment merge only, and this name matters. Correct name for this part is 932. This will ensure a proper import into Studio. That should be it. Okay, let's see how this all works, and save the model. I looked up, by the way, how to deal with this kind of window. You can dock it by pressing the Control key and dragging it where you like it. So this is where I like my parts bin. Good, let's switch over to Studio again. In Studio, I'm going to open the LDR model again, wait for the import to finish, and if all's well, we can see a cable here. There it is, that's my imported fish, and it's got a new submodel in here, which is my cable. Let's have a look at it. Let's hide some stuff. You can see, oops, I hit the cable. Let's hide stuff again. So as you can see, my cable is in here. connecting the motor and the brain nicely. Now the only thing left to do is make sure that it's showing in the right part of the building instructions. What I want to do is insert the cable at about the time when I insert this 4-length axle. So I'm going to drag this new model up to this step 42. And well, let's have a look at the building instructions, how this all renders. Okay, we're interested in page design. Let's see if we can find this step 42. Yeah, here it is. It's on page 163, and what you can see now is that because of the import studio things, our cable is assembled from tiny little segments and from black connectors here, and this doesn't look so nice in a building instruction. And here you can see it's also very hard to see how the cable runs. So I think I'm going to do a few things. I'm going to move the insertion of the cable to an earlier step in the model, and I'm also going to make sure that the plugs are attached to the cable right away. So to do this, we exit this one, and let's open our cable submodel here. So here is our cable. Let's open this one up, edit it. Come on. Yes, there we are. Now we are editing it, and here you can see this cable submodel is comprised of the plugs, which are black. Let's make them white first, and the cable submodel. What we want to do is make this all one level of submodel. So we are going to release the cable here. Put everything into one step. Delete the last step. There we go. So now this submodel of the cable looks fine with only one step, white plugs and black cable segments. Let's return to the main model and see if we can find better moment to insert that cable. It should probably be about, I guess, about here, when we add this motor. That's a nice moment to add cables. So let's drag our cable all the way up there. Okay. So now people following these building instructions can easily follow how this cable should go. And at this point I should probably also model the cable for this motor too, but that's like beyond the scope of this video. So for now we have seen how to model a cable in LDCAD and then import it back into Studio, and then modify it a little bit until it fits nicely with your building instructions. We can do one last check here, how it looks on the building instructions. This is all the brain submodel assembly. Okay, there we are. So once the brain is assembled, this step says find the cable. You can even hide these blue boxes because they are useless. To hide the blue box, make sure that you select the whole box around the step. Then you get these switches here, and you can hide the part list and hide the submodel preview. And you can even insert a piece of text, and here we go. And you can even call this the 25 centimeter cable. So users of the building instructions will know they have to grab the 25 centimeter cable, and it will be nicely outlined here, so they will know how to insert the cable into the model. Okay, that's it. This is a bit of a lengthy video on how to add cables to your studio building instructions using LDCAD. I'm looking forward to seeing your building instructions, and I hope you like this video. Bye bye!